Yeah, nice to talk to you guys again. I haven't seen you all month.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's a joke because we recorded last week for once, but Slicer wasn't here, so that actually kind of makes sense. Also, it's.
It's July now. The year is already halfway over.
Oh God, don't say that. I mean, it's true, but like, ugh, it's
Honestly,
flown
I'm already
by.
tired of 2024. I'd be okay with it moving on.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
So what the heck do we talk about? Slicer, how
Uh,
you doing?
Good. I just got back from I met a nice woman online, and I we talked for a couple months, and then I spent a week down at her place. So that was really nice. Got to
Hey.
travel to Georgia. Hot as balls down there.
Also, gotta watch out for the devil, I guess.
There's that. I didn't find any crossroads. I was kind of surprised by how similar the environment is. Like, I mean, Minnesota gets hot in the summer. Like, just because it's further north doesn't mean it's cold all the time. So it's hot, and because it's the land of the thousand lakes, it's muggy, so it's marshland. And most of Georgia is too, or at least the area I was in. So it was a very similar climate and environment. The heat was definitely more oppressive, but it wasn't that much worse. So most houses also have like a metal overhang or like a half roof over their garage or their the driveway, so they can just park a car down in there without like melting the car. Because I was thinking about it, and like having a garage would just be having a furnace essentially in that kind of environment.
A little bit, sealed off room with no airflow or anything. Just,
Yeah. So
Speaking of
go ahead.
speaking as a Texan, that can definitely be a problem at times. My family never had to deal with it so much because on either side of the house we have a couple of big trees that shade a fair amount of the garage, so that's nice.
Hmm. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, not to go into too much detail, but I had a really good time. Went on some dates. That was cool.
hmm.
And that's about all I did with the week. I mean, that was kind of all of it.
Well, that does sound like a delightful week.
Yeah.
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 I was trying to, be in the moment, so I didn't actually talk to a lot of my friends online. So I was essentially disappeared for a week.
Well, nothing wrong with that. You have to unplug every now and then
It was pretty
to,
nice on that front.
what's the phrase, touch grass?
Yeah, I totally agree with what Patient said. He says while he's got a fucking plug socket jacked into his brain. Yeah.
So yeah. Anyone watch anything this week or play any new games? Anyone do the Erd Tree DLC?
I've yet to start it still,
Ah,
unfortunately. Um,
Yeah, Zero missed his window on that, I guess. And
yeah, it was a short window that I unfortunately missed because something
Zero,
else happened.
Yoshi P gave you a week. What did you do
That
with it?
that's not enough.
Uh,
That's really not enough. Oh, yeah, that Final Fantasy
oh god.
14
Oh
did
god.
certainly come out. I talked about it a bit last week.
Oh, did you? I forget.
Yeah. Oh, shush. And presently, I have completed the main story of Final Fantasy XIV Dawn Trail that is currently out.
impressive.
Thank you. Some people no lifed it really hard, and as a result, have no idea what happened in the story, and they
Oh,
complain about it being
they
boring.
so they just skipped all the cutscenes and then complained that there was no story.
Skipped
That's
all the cutscenes, go back, watch only the voice cutscenes, and miss all of the other dialogue and
oh,
conversation, stuff
that's
like that.
really that's really dumb.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Mm-hmm. Um, Something about MMO players is
They
you can
complain
set
a
up
lot?
you can set up the most beautiful feast in front of them, and then they will devour it all in one bite, and then ask for more, and then say it was bad anyways.
While also asking for more.
Yes, and you're like, you didn't even taste it.
Well, the
That-
people who actually play it will be finishing it over the next couple of weeks, so, get some more measured impressions of it at that point.
It's been out for about a week, and I think if people are playing it, that's easily completable within a week. There's a lot of other, side content and other things to do. But the main story, that's fine to do that in that sort of time frame. It is a long story, but uh, I mean, some people can play faster than others. I will say, because this is something I want to talk about, because I saw this a lot. I saw a lot of people calling the story boring, um, which is really kind of fascinating to me because it's not.
Hmm.
It is slower paced because we just came off of Endwalker, which was the end of a giant arc, and Shadowbringer, and all those other like high action, high energy things.
Yeah, it's always the problem when you're coming off the really, really high peaks and then you drop right back down to low stakes stuff because you fucking have to at some point.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Otherwise, you get Saints Row. And, like, we could bring up other examples of this kind of thing, like fucking uh, One Piece when it did the whole it's actually a perfect example. One Piece, you got the whole gigantic war thing going on with Arabasta and then Alabasta, whatever.
Hmm.
And then when that's over, you go to Skypiea and everything is very contained and small and closed off. Like, visually it's impressive, but otherwise it's very disconnected from everything going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, that got a very similar impression at the same time as well, of just like really, really high stakes, and then we're gonna bring things back down, and everyone's not happy because you brought it back down. We were having fun. We were having fun. It was so big and bombastic and huge, and now it's not. That's just gonna get a lesser impression no matter what you do.
See, the very interesting thing to me is that I would actually put um this expansion is into like two packs of like two parts, two big parts. The first big part is all set up, right? That's more of a slow pace, fun adventure, that sort of thing, going out and doing all of that. The second part is the payoff, where all of that stuff gets thrown into high gear. And I think a lot of people didn't get to that second part, which is a shame because it's really good.
Mm.
And I really like because they are building on a lot of the similar themes that they've been working with, a lot of the things that they've already established. Even side content that they release between the major extracts comes into play as being relevant to what's going on.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I did see a thing that was talking about the main thrust of the expansion that had been shown, which was the whole Wuklamat and trying to seize, well, not seize, but inherit the throne thing.
Yeah.
And that got resolved more or less at about level 95,
Yes.
which is about halfway through the expansion.
Yes. That's the part one. Then things start to go into pretty high gear. I don't want to spoil it because the game just came out. I don't want to say anything more on that other than
Yeah, that's fair.
it's really exciting, fun stuff. The fight design and the dungeon design in this expansion are amazing. Like these are some of the most fun fights and like fun dungeons that I've done in the entire game. Like they are difficult dungeons that are actually, testing your ability to play the game properly because a lot of dungeons people run them a million times and like they're not that difficult. They're pretty simple once you've gone through it, but these dungeons are at a level of difficulty that is satisfying and fun to figure out with unique mechanics in each one for the various bosses and stuff like that. So really, really good in that regard. Like the gameplay is just really fun. Uh, and I think I mentioned this last time, but in this story, your character takes kind of a more of a mentor role. Like it's primarily Wuklamat's story, who is this character who's going to inherit the throne, and you're kind of because in the patch quest leading up to this, she had come looking for help with this, and hey, you just got done with your big adventure. Why not go to another continent and like have some fun? So in any given cutscene, your character is just there in the background with his arms crossed, and people are like, "That guy's scary. I don't want to mess with that guy." It's like you all are weak, but okay, you know what, that guy, I'm checking out. Yeah, no, no.
Yeah, maybe players were not quite ready to take on the whole old wise mentor role, especially when, your player character probably still looks like he's 23. But yeah. Oh.
I mean, your character offers advice to Uklama and guides them and fights the fights that they can't fight. Like that's the kind of character that you take in this story, and I've personally find that very fun and like refreshing after everything that has happened so far. Just be like, you know what? I can be the cool badass in the corner.
I'm kind of down for being Silver's Rayleigh in this shit. Especially now that I can be a real pirate. Like fuck.
Yeah, it's it's super fun. But people, just main character syndrome runs rampant and don't like that. I wouldn't say that the writing is like perfect for the X-Pack. There's some gaps and some things that they definitely need to explain, which will probably expand upon later, and some things that I'm not quite so certain on. Though I really, really enjoyed my time with it. From the area design, from the music, from all of the gameplay elements being just really fun to engage with. This is probably my favorite expansion in Final Fantasy 14.
Recency bias.
With recency bias, taking into account for that, I might change my mind later on. I probably will. But right now, I don't have any major complaints other than there are some really weird reads of lines. Like the voice acting direction is just kind of off this X-Pack. It's not consistently off. Like you'll have some really strong examples of voice acting, but then you'll have some cases where it's like that's a wrong read of that line. That doesn't match what's happening here. You know. So I don't think the voice acting itself is bad, just the direction is weird.
Yeah, that's a direction issue, not a.
Yeah, like I hear good lines. The actors can do good reads. It's just they're supposed to be shouting it in this thing, but they're not shouting it. That sort of thing. And so I just want more fun stuff that goes in this sort of direction. They did some really. I'm trying to think of how to talk about it. Because I'm really excited for the raids that come out in a couple weeks because they are going to be it is a tournament arc essentially. You are fighting in an arena with an audience for the raids. Like that's really fun for me to go for that approach, where it's like over the top and commentators, what have you. That seems fun.
Yeah.
Because we've had some really high stakes raids before. This is just fun. It's just fun. We're just chilling. We're setting up for something really huge in the future. I can tell already, but we don't have to worry about that right now.
Things they have shown in pre-release. Again, I haven't touched it. I'm still not fucking done with A Realm Reborn. Technically, I'm still in the patch content, but the pre-release stuff made it seem like the first story of 1.0 through Endwalker was, oh shit, everything's going wrong, we need to stop it. This one kind of gave the impression of we're gonna find something and us finding it is going to fuck everything up and we need to stop it.
Well, we are looking for that city of gold. I wonder what's going on over there. Yeah. The whole premise is the ruler has to undergo a trial. The person who will be the next ruler has to undergo a trial to find the City of Gold. And in classic Final Fantasy fashion, that City of Gold is quite out there in terms of what it actually is. And I really look forward to seeing more people discover that. The pre-release stuff they showed, they have two city states that they've shown. The first is like Taral, and it's the fun, South American, culture with color and greenery, and it's really fun. And then the other area is Cyberpunk.
Yeah. Solution 9 and all that.
Yeah, Solution 9, the area in which I now live in. I never want to leave that place. I want to sit there and take pictures of my character with all of the bright colors.
Yeah.
You can buy a motorcycle, a cyber motorcycle in that place for 7.5 million gil.
Worth.
Worth it. Yes, I bought it
Yeah,
instantly.
of course you did.
Can you?
It's a,
I don't know if I've ever asked. Could you ride mounts anywhere, or is it like World of Warcraft with kind of
You
specific
can't ride
paths?
them in the cities.
you
Okay.
can't ride them in most cities.
Okay, so that's not too bad.
There's like I want to say 2 city states in which you can ride mounts, and they stopped doing that, and I'm sad because Solution 9 is a gigantic map. It is a huge area, and I wish they let me have my bike out because it is so big. And I'm guessing that's because they're going to add on a lot of stuff and really like make that place come alive later on.
It is going to be the new base hub, presumably, taking over for late game players compared to the 3 city states from Realm Reborn. I would assume that's what they're going for with that.
I would hope so. I
Or
hope they
Mordona,
add.
I suppose. Mordona was also.
I hope they add apartments or housing there. They literally have an apartment complex in the city right there. It's right there. Let me get an apartment.
That's always a tricky thing with, like, hey, tell you what they could do. They could do houses and apartments, but for one player only. You can't do guild housing there.
Yeah, apartments are like that. They're personal. So just let me have an apartment. I saw in a cutscene that you had a modeled apartment. You modeled it. Why? For only one cutscene. Tell me. What are you planning? Give me housing. I want to live there. I don't want to leave.
Honestly, now that I've said that, that actually seems like a really sensible solution, is just put apartments in every city-state, every hub town. Just let people live where they want. Like, who cares?
Yeah. As it is now, there's like individual housing districts that have individual houses and apartments and everything that are entirely separate spaces from the city states, so they're themed after them.
Yeah, like, if it's just apartments, if it's single-player housing, then just let them live wherever they want to live.
Yeah.
Guild housing has to be a little more restricted, obviously, because, you have low-level players in the guild that will be going to this place and be like, what the fuck is this? Like, I have not gone to my guild house because it's in Shirogane.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that's 2 expansions away. God damn it.
Yeah. If you like, I can share just a screenshot of a little bit of what Solution 9 looks like and why I want to live there. Just because I like.
You're there right now, aren't you?
No, I'm not logged in now.
Oh, okay.
That's what it looks like. It is beautiful.
See, this is
That
what the
is pretty
graphics
cool.
update was for.
Yeah, no, it is the best looking place in the entire game, without a doubt. I want to live there. Let me live there. Square Enix, please. Yoshi P, please. I beg you. I'll pay you real money if I have to. Yeah. So
Yeah, okay.
Final Fantasy 14 is Dawn Trail is really good. A lot of people are really negative on it, which I hope doesn't dissuade them from giving me my Solution 9 housing. Don't take this from me. I think that's about all I have to say. Because again, just came out. It's very good. Excited for people who get to it. Just remember, it's okay to not be the main character of the story. It's okay to take a break from the protagonist role for a little bit. Just be the muscle.
Wake up, samurai job. We've got a city to burn.
There's a glitch in Solution 9 right now where if you jump in the right spot, you can float continuously up in the air to a certain point. So people have made a floating tower of people right in the square in Solution 9. And it's glorious.
This game is dumb. I love it.
It's so dumb.
Honestly, that feels like the way to go for a lot of games. Just embrace the fun. It's
Here.
silly. Have fun with it.
Here's the tower I mentioned. Yep.
Wow.
That's definitely silly.
Why are they separated by like a couple feet?
People were trying to make a continuous line.
Ah.
You leave enough players in one lobby and they'll start doing some weird stuff. I remember when I was waiting for this World Fate, which spawns like only once every 72 hours in real time. a bunch of characters got this big, like, bright glowing phoenix mount that you get for getting all the birds in Heavensward, and made a glowing sun in the center of the arena by combining them all together. And with their wings, it started to look like a biblical accurate angel. It was great.
That's pretty awesome. I hope somebody took pictures or videos of it.
Oh,
probably
it's
find it.
14. They take pictures of fucking everything. Are you kidding me?
Fair.
Now that sounds rather lewd.
Again, they take pictures of everything.
Yeah, they take pictures of everything.
Oh, thank you.
You know what mods are the most downloaded.
Don't go to Limsa.
We don't go to Limsa. Stay out of Limsa.
Go to Limsa, but don't keep general chat open. Just
Close general chat. Don't stand in Limsa Lominsa Square, and don't talk to Mail Out Raw. That's my advice. But I very much am very happy. I'm going to keep playing this X-Back as they drop raids and other content with patches. And
they're in full bug fixing mode right now, but you know.
yeah, they're going to simplify the Viper job because people were complaining that the positionals were too hard to get, which makes me sad. It's not that hard. You're just bad. Skill issue. All right. Aside from that, because that was the game that I played, basically, the only game that I played.
That's probably a thing with new. I just want to add that's probably a thing with new classes. Of everyone wants to try the new class, and they don't realize that hey, maybe the new class isn't for you. Maybe that's just not a gameplay style you're into.
Yeah. I mean, the classes are in a weird state right now because, for example, they rebalanced Monk and changed its skills and where it gets that. So now Monk it's good at high level, but if you take it into low level content, it's extremely overtuned to the point it outdamages everything. Aside from Pictomancer, which just outdamages everything.
Man, I can't believe they reworked Monk. It's usually such a stable class.
One of my friends is a Monk main, and he knows the pain of having to relearn his job every expansion.
Is it fun, at least?
Oh,
it's just deeply frustrating that as soon as you start to enjoy it, they change it.
It's a very fun technical class. If anything, they've streamlined it and made it easier to work with compared to how it used to be.
So it hasn't like completely changed. It's just refined over time.
Refined over time. Like, for example, they have a stack that they have to keep up to gain like an extra move, like special move. They can now overflow that stack instead of like wasting their accumulated charges as they do their moves. So, just simple stuff like that makes it like quality of life. They used to upkeep a buff that they had to always keep up, and if that buff goes away, then you're not having fun at all. Which, I mean, they still have stuff like that, but it's not as bad as it used to be.
Anyway, we were moving on from Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, we're moving on.
Yeah.
I got dragged back in.
That's my bad.
My younger brother was moving into an apartment this week. Moving out, has a new job, moving in with his girlfriend.
Oh.
So we were transporting all of his stuff. It's been really hot here in California.
No kidding.
Like really, really hot. Like hot enough that my car starts to overheat because it's been in the sun too long.
Ugh.
112 degrees is the highest I've seen it thus far, but I've not been paying attention. It's 107 right now, Fahrenheit. I could convert that to Celsius, but I don't want to. And
it's in the 40s.
So we had to take all of his, new furniture and various other belongings up to his apartment, which just so happened to be on the 3rd floor.
Oh, no lift.
You have my utmost sympathies.
Without an elevator or lift.
I figured.
It's rather narrow, too. And no break in the stairs, so it's straight up.
Ugh.
And it was the farthest room on the 3rd floor.
Of course. Why not?
And
don't tell me it gets worse from there.
Thankfully, we didn't have a lot to move up there. Though there was a whole table that was yet to be put together, a bed frame, an air mattress, and a ton of heavy bags of clothes and other belongings. But not a lot of big furniture, which I'm thankful for. It's a nice apartment. It's pretty spacious. Just I felt like I was going to die after the first thing that I brought up there, which was the heaviest
Yeah.
thing, which was the bed frame. So the bed frame or the table? It was one of the two. And it took me a while to recover from that. My dad, like, his right arm is just shot. He doesn't want to move. I think he can barely move it right now,
Mm.
just from all of that. Because it was me and my dad doing all the heavy lifting for the most part. And recommendation: uh, don't don't move in on the hottest day of the week
I mean, if you can help it, yeah.
if you can help it. It was because of the we were fortunate enough that we had shade. It wasn't air conditioned or anything, but we managed to avoid dehydration, get him moved in there, and he's going picking up his own furniture, making it look real nice. I'm hoping that he hires moving guys for the sofa when he gets that.
Yeah, it
I
sounds like a good idea. Pivot.
I I I don't think I could do that with the you need professional movers for the limited space that you have there, plus the steep climb, and yeah, no. Some things are just not possible for people who are not trained in that thing. So yeah, that was fun. He's all moved in. He's all moved out of my house, the house that I share with my parents, the house that my parents own, the house that I've yet to move out of. Well, starting a job in the next month, and then working on getting out of this house at one point.
Understandable. It's hard to do these days and getting harder.
Hmm.
Yeah, especially with mounting student debt and other things.
Indeed.
Have you been able to qualify for any kind of forgiveness for that? Or
Um, I mean, I can qualify for forgiveness for that, but that will depend on where I end up teaching long term.
Hmm,
So not quite yet. But I'm gonna look more into that once I actually start getting paid regularly and I can actually have a stable income, because that would be nice. But yeah, no, that was basically it. Moved my brother in, played Final Fantasy 14, and took many pictures of my character in Solution 9, posing in Solution 9. I want to live there. That's it for me.
Patient, you said you don't have much to talk about. I'm going to preface this with that. So,
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the only thing I can bring up. I mentioned last week that I'm actually starting to do better about losing weight.
cool.
So I'm keeping up the consistency. I only managed to go to the gym once this week, but that's no fewer times than I managed the week before. So I'm
Hey,
going to try stepping it up from there. And oddly enough, I noticed a significant increase in stamina this past week as opposed to the week before that.
hmm.
great
Yeah,
news.
quite so. Just the more that gets better, the more cardio I'll be able to do, and the easier it should be to properly get into shape. So I'm just going to keep going forward, and hopefully I'll be able to post a before and after picture by the end of the year.
Yay.
Cool.
Yeah, but other than that, not much has gone on this week. Just, you know what, actually, I'm kind of skimming over something rather important.
Okay.
I do have a job interview on Tuesday, and two other companies also reached out to me last week uh, for the interviewing process. One of which implied rather heavily that I was a shoe-in for the position. Now, granted, it's a temporary position, and it doesn't come with health benefits,
Mm,
but it does pay about $10 more an hour than my previous job. So,
that's a pretty good
Yeah.
compensation.
Yeah.
yeah,
Depending on what you need done regularly at the doctor, that can you're probably saving money.
yeah, possibly. I mean, I can't remember the last time I actually went to a doctor. which I know is not a good thing and is something that I
No.
fix once I have health insurance again. But yeah, I've got a nice number of prospects lined up now, and we'll see how that goes.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah, but aside from that, there really hasn't been much going on. Got some exercise in while walking around at other stores if I wasn't at the gym, so that was nice. And then just working to 100% Odyssey for the first time. After that, I'll probably be going back to Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Just took a break from that.
Mm. How far did you get in Wonder?
4 out of 7 kingdoms complete, I believe. I
Hey.
left.
Nice.
I love the fungi mines.
I remember. Wonder's a good game. It's very good.
Mm-hmm.
I love the art style direction they went with it.
Agreed. I do have to admit, it's a bit draining playing it by myself. I sort of wish I had joined up with my siblings to do it. Maybe I will next time, but yeah, it was still a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, with things looking brighter going forward, at least for me, and metaphorically speaking, because this coming week seems like it's going to be getting a fair bit of cloudy weather just due to Hurricane Beryl down by the coast.
Mm.
I'm not going to be in the path of any of the real trouble, but it does seem that some rain is going to be coming our way, and yes, please and thank you. How about a couple of weeks of that, with all of the sun that we've been dealing with?
Yeah.
Still, my father did say he feels kind of bad for all the people who are all the natives who are in the path of the hurricane, all those poor fish in a barrel.
That is pretty rough. I mean, there's a lot of people being affected by a lot of weather right now. It's very rough in the south, it sounds like.
Yeah. My parents said this is the biggest hurricane that we've ever seen in July, which only means what's the rest of the season going to be like? It'll be interesting. For all that I've lived in Texas for over 20 years now, almost 30 years at this point. Well, closer to 30 than 20 in any case. But I haven't had to deal with a lot of bad weather firsthand. We've had a few blackouts now and then. But aside from the big freeze for about a week that we had a couple of years back,
Yeah.
there hasn't really been any widespread damage from weather in my area. So,
If you don't mind me asking, you don't have to give a specific location, but whereabouts in terms of Texas are you? Like on the western side, southern, eastern, northern,
central. I
central? Okay.
am not far from Austin at all.
Okay. All right. I'm only really familiar with northern Texas. So I have gone down there and they are, yeah, typically much more stable in terms of the weather, I would say.
Yeah. Most recent occurrence was either that ice storm or sorry, or a tornado that we were on the outskirts of that knocked out our power a couple of days and tore the roofs off of several apartments, several buildings near us. But even then, that was mostly cosmetic damage, nothing earth-shattering. Which can only mean things are going to keep getting worse from here. And this is coming from someone who really enjoys storms. So it'll be interesting.
Well, there's storms and then there's storms.
Yeah, they're enjoyable until parts of your house start falling apart.
Yeah. Having lived in both Arkansas and Texas when I was younger, tornadoes were such a regular sort of thing for me that like we all we always had like our procedures set up of everybody get in the bathtub, bring all your supplies in there that we have, and write it out when we have a tornado warning. And happened several times, and we fortunately never got hit by a tornado. But I remember there were kids in my class who got their homes damaged or destroyed by tornadoes.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to ask, because this is such a casually said thing by Americans. And we don't get that ever. That whole, oh yeah, this friend of mine, his house got destroyed by a tornado. It sucks, I guess.
It's tragic, yeah.
It's bad. It's rough.
Oh,
man.
Yeah. I guess we are kind of casual about that.
Yeah,
Shit.
a little bit. Like fucking.
Sorry.
When I was a kid, like we had this school caretaker who lived in a little house on the edge of the school grounds, and his house got struck by lightning and burned down. We still talk about that 20 years later. Like, that is how rare this shit is for us. We don't get it.
So to put it in perspective, when I lived in Iowa, we would have a tornado at least twice a summer that would do sizable amounts of damage. I've a decent sized city for Iowa standards. Got kind of flattened a little bit, and trailer park cities get kind of destroyed. So you kind of just stop. It all fades away a little bit. Like, yeah, it's bad, but it's the same thing that. Yeah, I don't even know how to explain that.
I have a distinct memory of driving through being in my parents were driving, but I was in the car and we're going through the kind of the outskirts of the town that I live in. And I just remember seeing house after house after house just ruined and destroyed, just piles of rubble from the tornado that blew through recently. You know,
Yeah,
it happens, and it's
But like,
that sticks with me.
Like, what happens though? Like, these people that are living in the tornado alley or whatever it's called, and that's just a constant thread of that's going to be a thing that happens one day, and like it happens, and then what?
Okay, so
it depends on how.
Go ahead.
It depends on how well they prepare. I mean, you can be camping in the middle of an unexploded minefield, and some people in the world will still be, so what? It's not going to go off on me.
Yeah.
So also, as a result of environmental problems, the insurance industry is pretty sizable. The construction market is pretty good, barring material shortages. Like, there's infrastructure built up around rebuilding as well. It's not like they just lose their home and they die. Like, people stay at a hotel for a while. People stay with family for a while. There's shelters.
You get insured, so you can get in, a new house after getting a temporary place to stay. Like, people have ways to deal with that, assuming that they, prepared for that possibility of happening.
Okay.
Now, casualties aren't unheard of course. You can only plan for so much. And, of course, there are evacuations that are arranged in the case of the worst storms. Just,
Okay. That was just the thing that, it weighs on me more every time I hear about, oh, yeah, that guy's house got destroyed by a tornado. Man.
I mean, growing up in an area where it's always been a threat, and I don't know, never having experienced firsthand destruction myself or being close with anyone who has, I don't know how it can be anything but casual about it.
It's as a kid, going through school, you are constantly going through emergency drills.
Yes.
For various things that could happen. For example, when I was, in Arkansas, Texas, we had tornado drills. When I living in California, they have earthquake drills of what you would do in case of an earthquake, that sort of thing. So it's very, I guess, normalized to like, okay, this thing's happening. How do I react? Nature's unpredictable.
Mm-hmm. It's good to have it ingrained in you from a young age to be calm in the face of disaster. Granted, I'm not saying that that's the same as talking about this so flippantly as I acknowledge that we are doing.
It's true. You slide into flippancy.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
So now we move to the star of the show. Casey, how has your week been?
The fuck are you talking about, star of the show?
Yeah.
I mean, my name's Casey, so I'll take it. That part's me. So Chain of Memories still sucks balls. Just throwing that out there. That's not a good game. It's just not. It is a chore to play. That's pretty. In terms of games, that's pretty much all I got. Yeah, Chain of Memory sucks, and I wish I didn't feel the need to play it to get completionist on the final mix. Kingdom Hearts.
You can take your hands off the controller. It's okay.
Speaking of Kingdom Hearts, though, so my break is pretty much ending as of about 38 minutes from now, and I owe a chapter to a Patreon thing that has been very delayed because I took that break for a while. During that break, I did a little bit of side writing of about 65,000 words in 3 weeks. Yeah, that was a productive break, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
On a side project no one's paying me for, no one asked for, very few people read, but I have had a lot of fun writing. Unfortunately, that is probably going to slow down while I'm working on other stuff because I have to work on other stuff because my break is ending. So, yeah, that's... I don't know. I guess I dealt with burnout in a very strange way. I guess. I don't know how to really square that circle for how that works, really. But, I feel refreshed, I guess.
Hey.
Just because your hobby is also what you do for work doesn't mean it's not an effective way to de-stress. Like,
I guess.
it's a little... Yeah, I mean, I can't even really call it abnormal because I don't know what the standards are. But, hey, if it works, it works.
Standards of what?
Of, like, how to properly get venting hobbies or hobbies that allow you to de-stress.
Yeah, that's a weird one. Like, I don't know that when I just swear off writing for a week or 2 weeks, depending on when it is in the year, I don't know how effective that actually is, because it's like, oh, I get to do all the things that I want to do. I get to play video games or watch some show, I guess, and then I just end up watching YouTube videos for a week. I don't know if that's really effective at actually solving the problem, because then I've got like, I didn't do anything productive for a week. I didn't do anything I particularly enjoy for a week. I just did nothing.
Yeah, I mean, quitting or pausing something cold turkey when your job is to produce something always feels very, very strange. And at least with like a traditional job, your tools are at your work site, your materials are at your work site. Like, unless you work from home or work from your garage or something, like there's a level of separation there. But like, if you're writing, you can just do that on your computer. It's right there.
Yeah, it's all right here. It's all in the same place. I just have to press the full right. I forget what it's called. Focus writer. That's the one. That's my word processor, which is very nice, by the way. And people should use it if they're writing. Pro tips. Ugh, I feel gross saying pro tips, but Focus Writer is a very good word processor. It blocks out your full screen. You cannot pull up the start taskbar. You can't switch. You have to Alt Tab to switch tabs, to switch windows. So you are just focused on the thing that you are doing, and there are no distractions. It is just the words and a border around it if you want one.
Huh.
It is very good for keeping your focus. Second amateur tip.
We're going lower as we continue.
You make a living off writing. You can call yourself a professional. It's okay.
Going from pro to amateur, we go. What's below that?
Neophyte, novice. I do
Hobbyist?
words. It's literally my job to do words, so I can do words.
Yeah.
Second tip is writing Comic Sans.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
that is a really good tip.
That is a real thing. Comic Sans was a font invented to be annoying to read. It was actually meant to be annoying so that you would stop focus on like looking at the words you're writing and just focus on writing.
Yeah, Comic Sans is really good for writing.
Yeah. The idea was you would type in Comic Sans, get all of it done, and then switch it to a readable font for you and other people to proofread.
Yeah.
So that is my second tip. They are both very valuable tips. Have helped me immensely. So just thought I'd throw those out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the program kind of blocking off your screen is a fantastic use for people with ADHD or
Yeah,
Yes.
any kind of
Yes, it
distracted
is.
problems.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
As you were describing, it's like, oh, I want to go check that out. I don't know, it might be very helpful.
Yep. It has tools for like daily goals and stuff, so you can set a word count that you want to reach each day, and it'll like track how good you've been of getting your goal done every day. So if you want to do that sort of thing, you can. I tried in the beginning, and then I decided to no. But it is a tool that program has. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good. I'm just gonna pull that tool up and actually look at what it says for that because it's gonna say a lot, I imagine. See if I can find it. Oh, did I completely disable it? I might have. Oh, it's a. Oh no, there it is. Daily goal. Oh wow. Okay. I believe my daily goal was 1,000 words. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 20, 21, 22. Out of the past month, I have met my goal like 23 out of 30 days.
Fantastic.
Though, in fairness, if you actually calculate down the past like 3 weeks of like, hey, 3 weeks and 65,000 words, that is about 2,000 words a day if you average it out. So,
Good.
Consistency is the most important thing here.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could be that consistent with the stuff that, is, my job. But, that's how jobs work. Jobs will work no matter how much you enjoy the work, it is work. That's how that works. Brains are stupid, they suck, and everyone should hate them. Hate your own brain. Yeah.
Is that gonna do it then?
I kind of... I'm trying to think of anything. Okay.
I forgot to mention the week before I went down to Georgia, I got contacted by several different hiring agencies about
Hey.
work. And while I was gone, or the day before I left, I signed something. And then while the week I was gone, I went back and forth with the agency. And so I have a job now.
Oh, cool.
Wonderful.
I'll be starting
Congratulations.
this weekend.
Excellent.
Or sometime this week, I'll be getting the job offer. I can accept that and start.
Yay. I was just gonna. I have like 2 more things I wanted to mention.
Is that it? He says before deciding, oh, wait, I'm not done.
Believe it or not, I asked that because I had 2 more things I wanted to talk about that I remembered.
What if I'd said yes? What if I'd said yes, that's everything, we're ending the podcast right now?
Then I would have said, wait a minute. Hold the
Wait a
phone.
minute, because we
Stop
haven't
the presses. Yeah. So I decided to, with some friends, reopen a cursed box called Dokapon Kingdom.
Oh, God. Wooly, what have you done? It's spreading.
I was watching the Versus Wolves thing, and they're talking about Dokapon Kingdom, and my friends were like, hey, let's play a game, and we're like, let's play Dokapon. It's a bloodbath.
You don't say.
Every time that somebody can initiate PvP with another person, they've basically done so. We've just been nonstop killing each other. It's great.
If you want to kill each other nonstop, play Among Us.
We played that too. we've been really into killing each other lately.
You're. It's about testing your friendships right now with you, isn't it? A little bit.
Okay, to be fair, it was incredibly good humored for the Dokapon Kingdom stuff. Um, because it was just back and forth, and most of the time when somebody died, it was like, "Oh, I'm gonna prank you. I'm gonna change your name." Except for one player who was like, "I'm gonna take your money. I'm gonna take your money," and then we're like, "Oh yeah, no, we're gonna kill you now. Sorry, that's just how it is. You need your money back." But it was fun. It was fun. We were all joking and having a good time of it. Just, I think it really tells that you need to play it with the right people and have that open communication and be a little bit silly. So that was fun. Also, in D&D, my entire party died.
Oh,
Ooh.
that doesn't happen often. What happened?
So I had created this optional side challenge, and I was telling them, "All right, listen up. This is something that you are intended to get multiple attempts to. You can come back to this at any time, so you don't need to rush into it." So after they cleared the first wave of the challenge, that they were like they're feeling confident. So let's go with the second challenge, and they they kind of ate shit. um,
Hmm.
Ugh.
partially because they were up against tactics that they themselves would use.
Okay.
Um, and I had measures in which I'm like, you need to adapt to what this character can do. And there's like environmental hazards, there's lava pits, there's buzz saws in which they held one of the enemies in the buzz saw repeatedly, and that was pretty horrifying. But I mean, it was hilarious at the same time. And the for example, one player was like, "I'm going to use wall of force to enclose them in an invisible wall of force," and it's like, well. They walk forward, get bumped by the wall of force, and then use anti-magic field, and now they can just walk out. And they're like, "Oh, they haven't had to deal with that before." I made a fight that they cannot cheese, and they have to like prepare beforehand because I have a whole bunch of ways that you can prepare beforehand, and it was also just bad luck.
Yeah, sometimes the dice just decide you need to die that day.
Yeah, like the fortunate thing is because of the way I had designed that, if the whole party dies, it's no big deal. They can come back and they can challenge it again later when they're like a higher level, because they're like level 13 now, and this is meant to be taken at the higher levels. So they can come back later. They can do it whenever they want. But they were all having fun and planning their revenge. It's not often that I get to like that's the kind of experience that I wanted to create with that game, where tough challenge, but the challenge is meant to be one in which there's a puzzle element to it. I won't go too into that because I'll get lost in the nitty gritty. But there's a puzzle element to it of figuring it out, and once you have figured that out, the fight's gonna be a lot more manageable. So multiple attempts are allowed, but it's very rare that I get to make that party experience a loss like that because I think they got a little bit overconfident
That
because
that can
yeah,
happen if a party finds like a cheesing strategy that just keeps working.
yeah, I'm just going to use wall of force or this thing or that thing to mitigate the fight or to simplify the fight immediately. Because for those who don't know, wall of force is an invisible wall of force that cannot be passed through no matter what. You can't teleport through it. You can't do anything to get past it except casting a disintegrate spell on it or using an anti-magic field. So without the proper counter, that thing can basically isolate the majority of the enemies you're facing for a good period of time until either you drop concentration or they find a way out.
Mm.
So I am really looking forward to
Character
how they
creation.
deal with that.
I do have to tap out early.
Yeah.
I know we're about to end, but I
Okay,
gotta
we
go.
are about to
So
end. Okay, I was just gonna read up the Patreon next.
okay,
Yay.
so I will leave you guys to that. I gotta go. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I mean, sorry, I gotta go.
No, you're
Have a
too
good one.
used to saying it. All right, later.
Later.
All right. So, big thanks to our patrons for donating to us during the month of June. It's already July.
Mm.
The 4th of July happened.
It
We
did.
haven't
It
even
was an
talked about
election. Labour won. Yay.
Yeah. Thank you to James MacArthur for your $1 donation, or sorry, $2 donation. Thank you to Rio for your $1 donation. Thank you to Vale to your $10 donation. Thank you to Greek Guy, $1 donation. Thank you to Ethan F and the Crossbrain for your $10 donations each. We appreciate you. Yeah, thank you. Seriously, thank you. I'm very happy to be supported this way. So,
Yeah.
thank you all for listening.
Yeah. It's a podcast. Discord and Patreon links in the description if you feel like it. That'd be cool.
Yeah, stop by the Discord, post some memes.
Or
We
cat
have the
pictures. We have cat pictures. We have dog pictures.
we have cat. Yeah,
Ryu has an adorable doggo. It's made of floof.
it's pretty chill. There's only a few actually active people, but it's pretty chill.
Yeah. Anyway, bye everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.